Inflation really is the problem that won't quite go away. And you can see how sticky it is here. The blue line, we're over the hump, but it's not falling anywhere near as fast as policymakers would like. It stayed flat at 8.7% last month. That's considerably higher than the bank's 2% target. And look at this, before the lockdown, it's also a lot higher than the type of inflation we're used to in the UK. So we've got some way to go to get it back down. And when we're thinking about what's driving this persistent inflation, well, you can see that food and drink is easing off right at the bottom there, that red line. But prices here are still rising at an annual rate of 18%. So don't be fooled by that red bar. Meanwhile, at the top in the blue, it's leisure pursuits like eating out, recreation and culture that are now driving inflation. So even though prices are rising, people are still finding money to spend. And it's possibly why the Bank of England is worried about robust pay rises that workers in Britain have been securing. And this type of spending is becoming increasingly a problem. We will often hear that inflation is a global problem caused in part by factors out of our control, like the energy crisis. But if we strip away volatile items like food and energy out of the headline rate, we can see that underlying pressures, so that's the red line or core inflation in the UK, is rising. That's something our counterparts in Europe and the US are not grappling with. And all of this, it's uncomfortable for a government that's trying to figure out how it may tempt voters next year ahead of a general election. Government debt, as you can see here, as a proportion of GDP, is at its highest since the 1960s. And soaring interest rates make servicing that debt all the more painful. So it's a tough state of affairs for a country grappling with the cost of living crisis and a government that's been talking tough on inflation, but not yet delivering the desired results.